TelkomDGL Community Shield Overwatch match. And this time tonight is a big one, guys. It's Eden against Noobs Inc. Arguably the two best teams in South Africa at the moment. I don't think anyone can dispute Eden's position at the moment, but Noobs also putting on a very good performance against everyone they've faced so far in their trip to this upper bracket final match. And joining me tonight again, as usual, Flaz, to cast this awesome match.
Hello. Before we get into everything, I'd just like to apologize. I think there was meant to be music playing. I don't know, it didn't play, but hopefully now you guys can hear us clearly. Please let us know in the chat if everything's going fine, but I think from our side it looks good. But yeah, getting into, I've been really excited to see these two teams. I think we had the privilege of seeing them quite a while ago, I think about 2 months ago play. And back then, watching, I think it was Eden who came out on top by quite a bit. But seeing Noob's performance against DC the other day, this team has definitely shaped it up. And I think they are probably ready to challenge Eden tonight.
Yeah, so I think one thing that's working in Noobs' favor is the fact that they've had a slightly tougher journey to this upper bracket final position, playing against Damage Control, as you mentioned. It was quite a tight game for them, but at least they come in with a little bit of experience and having a good match. And also we can say the fact that they are playing in the Premier Division has put them up against some decent teams as well, whereas we know Eden, they didn't play enough matches in the ladder series earlier in the year, and they didn't qualify for Premier, so they haven't really been playing against the same caliber of teams. Of course, that being said, Eden, they're not going to just be sitting around doing nothing. They will be playing scrims against potentially international teams as well. I know they are very active on the international ladders. So, but tonight is really where we see this this skill now clash for the first time, I think, in quite a long time.
Yeah, no, it's been a while since they've played, and oh my goodness, I can't wait to see it. Looking at especially what I wanted to wonder, I don't know, that wasn't even in English. Sorry, I'm trying to communicate here with Grifflet. What I was wondering is do you think Noobs will be playing Nyamfo again tonight? I know he's a new addition to their team, but I saw recently on Facebook this morning he made Grandmaster, so definitely someone with some definition behind him.
Yeah, Grandmaster, obviously not the be-all and end-all of what you want in a teammate, but also there's some sort of indication as to the man's skill. We know he can put on a good performance, and based on the way Grifflet spoke to us the other night about confidence in him and the rest of his squad, I don't think there's any reason for them to be changing too much up. As you mentioned, there was the rotation sort of basis that they're trying to play with at the moment, seeing what works for them. And of course, we can't really say for sure, because this is a huge match for them, and they're just going to want to be putting out their most comfortable roster at this stage.
Chat, I'll have you know it was actually me who boosted Nyamfo, not any of you. Anyway, back to this. Yeah, no, I must agree. And the roster coming from Noobs is always interesting to watch, because they sort of have a very... I know what Grifflet was saying is that pretty much everyone on Noobs can play everything, which makes it really exciting to see what they can put together. They always have a different roster. I guess that follows a similar theme, but you can see how dynamic they are, especially in that game versus... my goodness me, what is it? We cast it on Thursday night. Yeah, I've drawn the blank here. You know what I'm talking about.
Noobs team.
Yeah, Noobs versus... Who's it now? Damage Control.
Well,
you saw how...
it was Damage Control.
Sorry.
I didn't say anything because I thought it was kind of obvious that the last one we casted.
Yeah, I don't know. It was Thursday was a long time ago. No, I agree. And you saw how dynamic they were in their picks. You had who I thought they were support mains playing tank, and then the tank mains playing DPS, and everything. They were so versatile that they could almost react to every scenario. So typically what we've seen from Eden is a very generic... normally it would either be triple tank or 2 DPS, 2 tank, 2 support, and almost always you see Carnage on the Genji. So they will probably know exactly what they're coming into versus a team like Eden. So I'll be interested to see how they react to it and what they have in mind with team compositions.
Yeah, I mean, I have to agree on the side of Eden. I would say individually, their hero pool is maybe not as wide across the board. They definitely have players who can play that flex sort of role, like Senti. He's obviously one of their better flex players, switching up between the various tank roles and off tank. Um, but Carnage, of course, loves pretty much sticking to that Genji. Occasionally, we'll see him on something like the Soldier, but yeah, for the most part, I think they tend to run what they are comfortable with. Their composition tends to be, I think, fairly limited per map mode, whereas the it's quite a contrast with Noobs, where we've seen how much they like to mix it up, and I think that's really what Noobs has to try and bring out from their own team tonight is something special in the way of composition and playing a good reactionary game to shutting down some of those high impact players on the side of Eden.
Yeah, I agree. I was just thinking now, if we're going to be seeing Carnage on Genji, we'll probably be seeing Light on his favorite McCree. I mean, that's a nice counter. We'll probably be seeing Grifflet on Winston as well. Talking about Winston, actually, he is fantastic to play in the new patch. I'm sure you would know. I've been messing around with him. I've literally I maybe played 1 hour of Winston before the patch, and oh my goodness, I didn't realize how fun he is. His whole playstyle is just so I want to say different, but it's so effective, and especially in the hands of a person like Grifflet, it's really gonna be beneficial.
Yeah, we've seen them use it quite a lot, and it's not only on attacks. So typically, we'll find in South Africa whenever we see a dive composition, which is not sort of all the time, it's sort of, I would say, the minority of attacking teams we've seen locally have used pure dive compositions. Excuse me.
Yeah,
But Noobs actually utilizes dive in slightly different way. They mix in a few different heroes on attack, but the interesting thing is they try it on defense as well, and it's actually become a little bit more popular now in the most recent patch, where you actually can use some of those dive heroes as defensive heroes to counter an attacking dive composition.
yeah,
Winston being great for supporting your back line, and um, still Genji being seen a lot as well on defense. So I mean, it's not to say that Winston can only be used on attack, and we've seen from them how to utilize something like that, especially on a map with a lot of high ground on first point like Nambani.
yeah. I wish we had some indication as to what maps we're going to be seeing tonight. It'd be great if we could see maybe on the match page on DGL or something. But I expect we'll probably be seeing something like King's Row, maybe Nambani, and we might even be seeing a control, not the control, the King of the Hill style map, although I'm not too sure. I think that's what the teams are up to right now.
Yeah, on the control side, I'm a little bit skeptical as to the confidence levels of either side trying to go for something like that. I certainly hope we get to see it, because we don't get to see a lot of it locally, and it really is a nice sort of change up and something to show us the brawling ability, just the raw firepower of teams. But that being said, both teams, I think, will be respecting the skill of each other and going more specifically into the uh, actual players on each side. I think respecting the DPS potential on either side. We've seen the DPS players on Noobs, not only on Eden, really
Yeah.
firing away recently. Been quite an impressive sight.
Yes, that is true. No, I'm just waiting for an invite to the match. It was meant to start at 8. I apologize for the slight delay. I've spoken to Grifflet and he says he's also waiting on it. So I believe we're waiting on the side of Eden. Not to point fingers or anything, but that's the reason for the delay.
No, Eden was apparently just in another practice game beforehand. They were still busy with a match. I don't know if it was an official match, but they were in a match of some kind. So they've just finished up now, guys. So they're about to, it looks like we're heading into the lobby. So we should be getting underway shortly.
Yep. Did you get an invite? No, you didn't. Hang on. I'll hit you with an invite right now.
I need an invite still.
Scopes wasn't invited to the Cool Cat party. There we go.
It's a little unfortunate that we don't get to see the draft page these days. Now that people have to sort of make an official record of it, they're tending to just do it in private.
Yeah.
So we don't get to see that Overwatch draft link, so we can't show you anything extra until the match actually gets going. Maybe we can swap the page over to the lobby screen once it starts to fill up, so people can just get a quick reminder of who's actually playing. And Nianfo is playing, so obviously he did a good enough job in the last game against DC to be invited again. Well, I don't know if someone else wasn't available, but yeah, he is playing.
Yeah, you were correct there. It looks like they invited the wrong Carnage to the custom game. Now, for those of you who don't know, there's 2 Carnages in South Africa, both spelt exactly the same. It's quite interesting, actually. And they're both actually very, very, very well-known players. So, I mean, obviously a mistake like that is probably quite common, actually.
Yeah, I don't actually... Sometimes I get confused who is who, but...
Yeah,
it looks like
I would have no idea.
The real Carnage is trying to get in, but struggling a little bit. He is a bit AFK at the moment.
It would seem so. So yeah, we have the teams we expect. What I'm actually interested to see is Sheep versus 20. Both on McCree. Both 2 fantastic McCrees.
Sheep?
Sorry, not Sheep. Sorry, Light and 20. Sorry, I had my mouse over the wrong person.
Don't do this to me. Don't tell me they have another McCree player. Yeah. No, I mean, the fantastic thing about Noobs is they seem to be able to work in a Genji whenever they want, despite the fact that they rotate the McCree as well. So we tend to see Light on McCree whenever there is one, but if they need a Genji as well, they can put either Light or like a Luke onto that, and both perform equally as well. I mean, they've been so impactful when they're on that hero. And then, of course, the little hidden talent. Well, I don't know if he is that hidden anymore, but he hasn't been mentioned frequently enough, I don't think, and that's Sheep. So he's a flex player for Noobs, but he flexes to between what seems like support and DPS. So when they're running these 3 DPS compositions that they love to pull out every now and then, Sheep tends to be the one that rotates to that DPS position, and we've seen him on Tracer doing some work. And
fantastic
that
Tracer.
Tends to be coupled with something like Winston on Grifflet, and sometimes even a Roadhog they mix into that. We've seen some good Roadhog play so far. I think the standout for me was in the damage control game, but I think definitely against Genji heavy teams like Eden in particular, you're going to be wanting to keep a hog in potential for the running for your composition.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I wonder who would play hog on their team. You were saying Sheep, so yeah.
Well, no, I mean if they had a hog, I don't think they would be. They would definitely have to be going a double support lineup. So I imagine Sheep would then be on a support player again.
Possibly Anna.
So probably Light, I would say, on that hog. I can't recall exactly if Luke or Light plays more hog between the 2. We haven't seen them play it all that much. But I know that Light does have some time on the hog, and saw one game with it and wasn't too bad. But that being said, I think Luke as well, also a hog player
Yeah,
in the competitive mode. So I think again something that they can flex between.
yeah, very true.
Interestingly though, uh, yeah, so Centical I know has been playing a lot of Diva and Winston in the competitive mode. So it'll be interesting to see if they combine something like the Winston and the Reinhardt together. Because Kubler, I don't know if I've seen him on too much other than the Reinhardt at this stage, but I think they like to have that as like the solid grounding, whereas Centical and Carnage are going to be doing the work up front
Yeah,
and just creating a lot of chaos. That seems to be their sort of signature sort of positional strategy,
yeah.
if I can
No,
call it
I
that.
agree with that. Well, I mean, who knows? We might if we do see something on like a capture point. Sorry, not capture point. The Temple of Anubis. They're posting the things in the chat, and I'm getting confused. King of the Hill style map. It would be quite interesting to see. We might actually see almost exact same team comps coming out. I mean, like Grifflet on Winston, you were saying Centical on Winston, 20 on McCree, Light on McCree, Carnage on Genji, Like Luke on Genji. And then it's just the supports, I think, might be different with the... Supports
Yeah,
might be too different. So, although something like NLT, I know he loves Lucio. Visions is almost famous for his Lucio. And then I guess it's just up
yeah.
to
So
what
I
she
mean,
plays. Probably Ana.
Visions as well. Also, I mean, strong on most support, so he can pull out anything necessary. Sort of, be it that Lucio or the Zenyatta or the Ana. But even though there is a chance for somewhat of a mirror matchup to come out on a few maps, I think Noobs is probably going to be feeling the pressure a little bit more, not in a sort of broad sense that because they are the underdogs, they might feel like they've got nothing to lose at this stage, but in the sense that there's going to be a lot of pressure on them from the get-go to shut down Carnage and 20.
Yeah.
And we know, like I've been speaking to the guys about it. They're fully aware of the fact that that's what they need to do to try and dismantle this Eden team. And so we're going to have to see if that's reflected in their compositional picks at the start of these maps.
Yep, and it looks like the maps we're looking at are Kings Row, Watchpoint Gibraltar, and Route 66. Route 66 would be an interesting map to see. It's not one you see very often.
Yeah, sure. It's yes, slightly disappointing we don't have any control maps in the mix.
Yeah,
it's unfortunate. No, not everyone is a fan of the control maps, but you know they bring some excitement to us casters and spectators alike.
Yeah. We never mentioned this, but do you think we might be seeing an Orisa? Possibly, I don't know.
Orisa is banned still. I actually no, I don't know.
I think we discussed this last week Thursday. There was no ruling against Orisa.
I'm incorrect. Yeah, I think she is allowed, but we just haven't really seen her feature yet because no one's really been.
I think it's a bit early on for players to be comfortable working her into a team comp and all the other.
Yeah, there have been a few international matches where she's featured already, though.
No, really, I haven't been watching enough.
The immortal side in the Carbon series, I think it was just yesterday, brought it out on a control map. It worked quite nicely. They actually got the win with the damage boost in combination with the soldier. But Centical is sort of taunting us at the moment, hinting at it.
Yeah, that's what I was asking. But then again, they've also got a Widowmaker and a Hanzo, so.
He's been performing so well on the Winston lately. I don't think they have any reason to do it. So now we see something very interesting coming out from them with the Hanzo. I don't know if it's just going to be the initial arrow to check the positioning, probably.
Yeah, that's exactly what it was.
It looks like he's going to swap out.
Yeah, you were correct. What is interesting though is 20 is staying on the Widowmaker, and as we watch him now, here he's got his eyes on the Soldier in the backline, although I don't think he's quite going to be able to see him. Soldier playing very, very careful there. Light not wanting to make himself known, but 20 staying with this Widowmaker. It's interesting, you don't normally see Widowmaker come out. Oh, just missing the jump shot onto Light.
Yeah, Sentical just waiting for the opportune moment. He hasn't really found too much yet. I'm jumping around there, but just trying to look for some gaps in Carnage. As always, getting right into the back.
Yeah, like you said, Carnage now, he's looking for those squishies. He wants the low DPS there at the back, although it actually looks like he's got Grifters in his sights now. Getting right up in his face as Winston jumps in, followed up by the Genji dash. Nyantho, you... Although actually there, Nyantho and Lycaluke doing a great job actually of cleaning up in the back. I thought they had themselves cornered, but I think their health pool was a little bit greater than they expected. And that looks like almost a full team wipe. It's just Carnage left in the back there. And then fantastic defense there by Noobs.
Great response from them. They knew how to position to handle that aggression coming out from Eden, and Eden just couldn't get close enough in there. They tried their best with the dive heroes that they had, but they were rapidly losing HP as they were doing so, and Noobs just teaming up on them.
Yeah, although a fantastic charge coming in on there, followed up by a nanoboost now onto Nyantho on the Zarya. He's going to go in, he wants to see if he can melt through 20, he doesn't want him to get any chance to build up ult there, as he manages to finish off Carnage now, sitting on 92% of his ult. We're going to probably be seeing a Genji ult coming into this very soon, although we do have Lucio ult up, Light as well having Soldier ult up, so they do have the stuff in their bank to counteract it, and it looks like once again they've held this point.
Yeah, Vision's actually got a pretty quick transcendence there, but he had to waste it to help get the remaining players of Eden out. Now they're trying to go through the hotel area. Let's see if that works out better.
They do look like they're going to come straight into a ult there from Nyantho, although unfortunately only catching one. And here comes Carnage on the Genji. It's followed up by now Soldier as well, bringing out Light, bringing out his attack visor, although Kubler catching him there out in the corner. It's almost even at this point here. It looks like it's just Sheep keeping everyone alive, and Sentical unfortunately going to have to jump straight out of there, as he's caught by the sneaky grenade on the way out. Roadhog finishing him off. That's a very, very nice delayed spawn there. Well played there to Lycaluke.
Yeah, I don't think they're giving enough respect to the Zarya charge and the Hog, who has been sitting pretty close to them as well. They aren't really dealing with them quick enough, and probably going to need to send in a Barthic nade over his direction in the next fight, because he's just getting so much value, and Nyantho just sitting at the back doing what he does best.
I agree, and 20 here looking a little bit indecisive, as I've seen him on over 3 heroes already this map. Although now as Tracer, he's doing exactly what Carnage was doing earlier, getting right into the backline, but I don't know if it's going to be enough, as the nano-boosted Reinhardt comboed with the Hog here. He's picking up all the kills. 20 manages to get one in the back, but it's just not going to be enough, as Carnage then going down again. Noobs showing us exactly what they've brought to the table. They're saying to Eden, you may be a good team, but we're here to show you up, and they're doing that fantastic job of that.
Yeah, this Hog splitting them up perfectly at the moment. They really have had no solid response to this, and every time we get into a team fight, they seem to be rattled and getting dispersed.
And Arturia and Kubler already going down in this fight. Grifflet swinging his hammer, and he's managing to catch yet another one. NLT in the background there, doing his best to keep his teammates alive, and this could be the upset of the century here. It's all down to Carnage here, who's just doing as much as he can, although it does look like that's going to pay off, as 3 kills there for Carnage with 3 seconds left on the clock, as they're finally going to get this point. Very, very well defended there to Noobs.
Yeah, saved at the last moment. Carnage, whenever you need something big to be pulled out, you can count on him for it. And I think it was a wise decision as well for 20 to move over to that Tracer and just create a little bit more space than what they had been seeing before that fight. But it seems like we've got a little pause out here. Some lag reported on
both sides. Both sides actually. Sheep complaining as well.
But yeah, quickly to recap, I think Noobs are going to be feeling pretty confident. They drew Eden into overtime there, although they eventually lost the first point. It would have been great for them to full hold there, but I think they're going to be feeling good. They don't. They do have the Graviton and the TAC visor still to work with into this next fight. So even though it doesn't sound all that much, if we look over to the side of Eden, they expended everything to try and get that first point. So
Yeah.
Noobs can actually hold their ground at the start of this, and the streets phase is normally where we see teams crumble to a side as immense as Eden. But hopefully this time they can pull out something different for us.
Yeah, you have to remember they're going to be coming around the corner into a Nyampo Zarya Graviton Surge, as well as Light, who will have his Soldier ult up. And probably by the time that engage comes, we're probably going to look at least an NLT ult as well. So they are coming into quite a scary repertoire, especially coming from with none of their DPS having ults. Kubler, the only one on their team who's close to an ult. So, I mean, and you can see the way they took that point is when they had the ult advantage, they got worth out of it. But until they had that advantage, Noobs punished them. Multiple times they tried to come in and Noobs just said no and outplayed them every time. Up until, of course, they could bring in the nano-boosted Reinhardt. Sorry, not nano-boosted Reinhardt, the Arteria ult followed up by Carnage swinging his sword.
Yeah, I mean, even though Noobs were being backed into a corner, you've got to remember that their composition had the hog, whereas the Eden composition didn't, and they were so susceptible to the hooks. I'm sure Carnage would have been fearing that hook as well, getting into the back line, but not really getting all that much value until that final ultimate came out. And all in all, pretty solid. I would say that their composition has worked out fairly well for them so far with this triple tank. I think they are quite beefy, especially the fact that Light is still sitting over on this soldier. He's not the easiest to bring down by any means by a Genji, and yeah, so it's a composition that was popular in the last patch gone by, but obviously still relevant, pretty tanky still, and these DPS players from Eden are going to have to continue to work very hard to get value. Hopefully now they have some more space to work with in the streets phase, and maybe we'll see them take advantage of that.
Yeah, I agree. It's interesting that they've gone for this triple tank. I would like to say it might be inflating Carnage's bubble more than it needs to be, but I'd like to say they almost went it to deal with that Genji of Carnage. I mean, it's very, very difficult playing Genji versus a triple tank. Even more difficult playing Genji against a very, very good Zarya who will bubble anyone you get near to, and a Roadhog who will hook you as soon as you get out of position. So, I mean...
Yeah, no, definitely.
What they've done is they've designed a team comp that will stop the standard team comp of Eden. And there's very little... Eden will struggle to outplay them just because of team comps coming into this.
I mean, that back right position behind the hotel next to the first objective is always great for team as tanky as Noobs is, just to stick together in a bubble. And even though the Genji might be building ultimate off easy hitboxes, I mean, he can't really convert that. And we saw how the Winston struggled. The Diva didn't get really that much value initially. Kubler was being split up from the rest of his team, leaving the supports quite vulnerable. And they couldn't really find an isolated target to jump in upon.
Yeah. No, you saw they went through a huge amount of heroes in those first couple of pushes. I mean, 20 switched hero. He came in as Widowmaker. He had to switch off Widowmaker to go on to McCree, and he played McCree for one time, and then he had to switch off McCree to go on to Tracer. Sentinels came out the door as Winston and had to switch to Diva, and I think that's all, but I mean, they were very, very indecisive coming out, whereas Noobs were just able to sit back, relax, get a gauge of what was happening, and deal with them every time they came through.
Yeah, I think I almost feel like Eden were sort of just going what they were comfortable with initially. After the opening Widow pick didn't really work out for them, they changed to their comfort picks and tried to create a little bit of chaos. But with the Winston going in, he was kind of hopping around, and we saw for ages he was going to the right of the point and then up over on the left, and he couldn't really find anywhere to drop in. And then when he finally did, he couldn't get close enough with the DPS players next to him to provide support, and everything just became a little bit dispersed. That being said, it looks like Centical is getting back into the match, guys.
Yeah,
So
just an update if you guys, sorry, if you guys just joined now. Just coming off this, after capturing the first point, Eden requested a pause on the basis that Centical was having net issues. And the rules go, I believe I read up this, but it was quite a while ago when I last checked it up. It was back when I played. But I believe the rules are each team gets one pause per match. So Eden have extended, they've used the pause for this game. And so Centical's been restarting, and he should be back with us in the next couple minutes.
Yeah, hopefully quicker than a few minutes. It looks like he's back
He's
and
joined.
ready to go.
Yeah.
And
I hope they know, because
even though he was on the no-aim Winston pick, obviously it's a bit frustrating if you're lagging. You can't really judge correct jump ins and jump outs. So yeah, I mean, it's always going to be a bit difficult.
And here we are, going back into the game. It's a shame now, because Centical's ult charge is obviously going to reset.
Yeah, and he's actually sticking with that D.Va, so he had 66% ult charge before that, so he's lost that. I don't think it's all that huge for them, because the only thing they really have to set it up is the Earth Shatter, but yeah.
Oh, as 20 there picking off like a Luke to begin the engagement, followed up by a massive charge there by Kubler, getting right into the background, followed up by a hammer down as he managed to take out 2. He's going to be looking for Nyantha now, who managed to actually not get out in time, and like you were saying, dominating the streets phase. They're very, very, very quick engage.
Yeah, I mean, they almost didn't need all the space that I was talking about previously. They pretty much just rolled down the streets there and imposed their their force on the side of Noobs. And
yeah, and now a sneaky 20 coming in the... Yeah, a sneaky 20 coming in the background now. He does have his ult, and they all grouped up nicely as he lands it on Griffith. That's the main tank down there already as he goes into the background there. I do believe Nyantha pulled out his ult, but I'm not sure if it's going to be enough as he manages to clean up 2. Actually, you might be getting some worthless. Kubler going down as well. 20 is the next one he has in his sight, although with 35 HP, I don't know if he can withstand this out, although he is actually being healed up now. They may have actually just stalled this a little bit right just before the end point. I believe they've actually done it.
Yeah, good job there by Nyantha, seeing the opportunity to stall a little bit, but also the fact that he had high energy already, he could just circle around the back of Eden and get off a few quick picks. And now there's a lot of ultimates ready for both sides, so this is going to be a big engage, and this is certainly going to decide the fate of Eden as they work their way towards the second point. Yeah,
with 30 seconds left, they need a huge Carnage ult, and here it comes. He's already got the Lucio in his sights, although the dropping the beat manages to delay that quite a bit. Grifflet taking out Kubler, followed up by Leica Luke, finishing up 20. Now both TPS players are really going to have to work hard here. Light bringing out the ult, and here's the D.Va ult. Could we be seeing massive worth from the D.Va ult as he does manage to get 2? It's just Nyantha left defending the point. Vision's got his in his sights as Vision's managed to take him down. Leica Luke now needs to get back onto the point. He's going to really, really struggle with the DPS potential that is coming out as he manages to finish off Tentacle just to deal with Sheep. The hero honor, can you do it? And I don't think he can, as they manage to cross the line again in overtime.
Yeah, another overtime finish, and Centacle going big there, getting good value out of his ultimate, but the brawling there, he just never seemed to go down, and it was pick after pick, and eventually Eden not actually relying on the, aside from the bomb, not really relying on the ultimates all that much.
No, it was just a case of who was on the point and who wasn't. As now it looks like 20 again coming to sneak around the background as he managed to finish off Leica Luke. Grifflet just standing on the point, swinging his hammer, making sure he can keep everyone off. As here comes the ult from Visions. Is it going to be enough though to keep them alive through this Graviton Surge? As Grifflet charges in, Carnage again built up that ult, although he's met right in the face by a huge Reinhardt hammer. Nyantha getting 2 nice picks in the background there, looking for the Tracer next if they can finish her off. 20 dying, a fantastic spawn delay there on 20. They're going to have to wait for that with 30 seconds again left. This game is coming down to the wire, Scopes.
Yeah, this is going to be pretty much their final stand here. Unless they... yeah, pretty much the final stand.
And
so
here comes Carnage again, bring out the hammer. He manages to finish off 2, make that 3 with the hammer down to combo with it. He's now looking for the Nyantha here, and he's got him in the U-shaped room, and he's got his health pack here as well, but Like a Luke manages to finish off Centacle. That's a massive pick there, especially on D.Va, who had her ult. Nyantha, although, getting taken down by baby D.Va, actually, so maybe taking her out of her mech wasn't actually the best thing. Like a Luke in the background with that nano boost onto the whole hog, manages to push Centacle back off the point, and now in overtime, that all they need to do here is hold this point. Could they do it? Could they be the first team to take a map off Eden? As it looks like a Luke and Light just doing a fantastic job here of pushing them off. It's just 20 left on the point here.
They're doing it. They're doing it.
And they did it. Oh my goodness, Scopes. I think this is the very first time we've seen Eden not finish up a map.
It is indeed, I think, the first time that Eden has been held off. So, I mean, it's a fairly good distance for them still, but 57 meters, it's not quite there, and certainly doable for Noobs. So great performance coming out from them. A really clutch little final moment there with the nano boost being ready, and the fact that nano boost was able to keep the hog alive through his ultimate there, soaking up a lot of damage. That really just gave them enough room to sort of slowly trickle back onto the payload and defend it. And even though Carnage was getting quite a lot of value towards the end there, wasn't enough. It seems like they're struggling to deal with this tank composition a little bit.
Yeah, I agree. And coming out now, they pretty much have, well, they actually, except for 20 now onto the soldier, they have the exact same composition coming out on defense, which is interesting. You'd think now they would react to something like this triple tank with either a triple tank of their own, or maybe a little bit more, well, I would say more hit scan, so not the Genji. But
yeah, this is a tried and tested composition for them. Centacle very comfortable on that D.Va, and in combination with 20, who can take a high ground position, he can pretty much just sit back, and whenever he needs help, Centacle can fly up and assist him. He can get the long range support from Anna, whereas Carnage is pretty much going to be taking the role of the guy who plays alone again, getting up in the face of Noobs and trying to actually keep that pressure off his supporting backline. But let's just take a moment to look at the Noobs composition as well.
Yeah, we had that early we had that early what's his name, Hanzo pick as well, though he switched off after throwing off his sonic arrow, and they're going for this high ground charge, which we saw them do quite a few times in their game versus damage control now. And they're going to use this to their advantage. Can they get the early Genji pick? Genji jumping onto the high ground. Although, this is what they were trying to do earlier, you see, where they jump over the gap. Unfortunately, they couldn't make it. Centacle getting caught out of position, though, and caught out of his mech as well. Though the deflect there from Genji getting right in the way.
In trouble.
And this is a huge push here, coming right around from the back here. Grifflet charging in. He manages to take... Well, I say he manages to take down, but there we go. He manages to finish off Kuba. Carnage now onto Nyantha, but it looks like that with all of them on the point, they might actually be able to do this here if they can just get the picks they need. Sheep getting a fantastic sleep there onto D.Va as well, putting her off the point. It's now Arteria just left dancing around the point, trying his best to stall it out. Visions as well on the point as well, but I mean, 2 supports can't really do much against a triple tank.
Yeah, they did so well to deal with Centacle quickly, but now Eden has had the time to reinforce. Can they bring it back?
Well, I mean, Grifflet is getting all the picks he needs, and here he comes with the nano boost. He's managing to hold them way off the points. It's followed up by Luke as well, popping his ult, and I think this actually might just be enough. I mean, Carnage has come out now with the Genji ult, although he gets shut down. No, he doesn't actually get shut down. Well, he basically gets shut down. He doesn't die almost immediately as the team reacts to that very quickly. NLT doing a fantastic job on Lucio, and here comes another huge charge from Grifflet as it pushes Reinhardt off the point, which is exactly what they need, and they've taken the first point. In what, 3 minutes faster than Eden did?
Yeah, great stuff. I mean, it looked like for a second they were overcommitting the ultimates there when they popped the Hog ultimate and the nano boost. They actually needed it, but they didn't use it all that effectively, and then that gave Eden to a little bit of time to start reinforcing the point. I was getting a bit nervous for Noobs at that stage, but with the
No, they
grenade
showed
on
us that they can
Carnage,
pull through.
Yeah,
And
he
it looks
actually
here like a
did
Luke.
a
Oh,
damage
unfortunately, the hook getting pulled off, but he still manages to finish off Carnage. Like a Luke doing a fantastic job of dealing with the flankers. He's just shutting them down every way he can. And now we're looking and coming into this next fight. I mean, I want to say that Noobs again has the ult advantage, especially with that combo potential of Reinhardt and Ana, and even the Soldier ult coming out there now. Although both Lucio's popping their ults, and I think this is going to result in a Eden win here, or an Eden win of this fight. So just a little bit more cautious with their ults and a little bit more effective as well. Like Luke gonna have to do his best to get out of there.
If he can survive, no, he can't. I was going to say that would have been quite. Oh, they've actually slept Kubler.
And it looks like they might actually get him. They did, so this means they can engage their 5v5. Both of them are tanked down. Fantastic sleep there by Sheep as they're going to run straight onto the point, followed up by the Lucio speed boost. In fact, they're going to get a couple of meters gain off that. A very, very, very good sleep. And it looks like he's now going to have Nano Boost up ready. He's going to probably want to Nano Boost Grifflet here. Or possibly Light, who is on the Soldier. He's still coming back into this, although unfortunately he gets shut down. Followed up by a huge D.Va ult. It's going to get right in the way. Tentacle getting two there. Carnage and Lucio making it out alive, but I don't think they're going to be enough to get this. As here he comes charging back as he gets 20. Grifflet hitting all the charges today, showing us why he's one of the best Reinhardts in South Africa.
Wow, that was actually so nice for Eden. I don't know if you quite saw it, but they broke the shield pretty much half a second before that D.Va ult popped, so that's what allowed them to get those 2 kills, and really good work from them coordinating that with the aggression coming in from Noobs again.
Again, a huge charge followed up by a huge hammer down, which is again going to be followed up by another 2 ults. Everyone's getting picked up here by Light. He's pushing them far, far back. Vision's is the only one left alive. As Carnage, though, comes in the backline, and let me quickly get onto his perspective. Okay, I didn't make it get onto his perspective, I made it onto 20s instead, but regardless of the fact, it looks like we're seeing another hold here on the, just before the finishing line. Grifflet and Luke doing huge work. Luke, I wouldn't be surprised if he pops his ult here just to knock them off the point, just to make sure that they can at least get the second check, as they're doing this still faster than Eden managed to do it. And here they are, this is going to be what they need to cross the line.
Oh, that was so unfortunate for Kubler. He tried to do the Earth Shatter through the payload, as is common for Reinhardt to do, but he actually got nothing out of it, and the position was really countered so well by Noobs. Their positioning has been great, and picking off heroes left, right, and center, just again and again, and Eden have struggled for positional control. And
Noobs really making a good push here onto this final put. The Nano Boost at 20, although it does manage to stall them quite a bit. I believe there was a hammer down there in the end from Kubler.
Was that necessary? Look how they're stalling Sheep now.
Yeah, keeping him alive. He manages to find the way out of the map.
Yeah, so that's going to delay their push by about 10 seconds or so, but they've still got 2.5 minutes on the clock, and Payload just one little corner away from a Noob's victory. Let's see if they're... Wait, what happened there? How did Light get that pick off?
I'm not quite sure. The 20
Helix Rocket.
Yeah, very lucky Helix Rocket. 20 now switched onto the Widow. He's going to be looking for some picks here coming into this last little bit. Although he doesn't quite look like he's getting the worth he needs from it. Light as well, doing a fantastic job onto Soldier. Nyapha on 80% of his ult now, and he's going to be building this up. Although it doesn't look like he's going to need it as they push them way back. Here comes the bubble, and Grifflet defending that very nicely, and that's 4 kills off them. And they have taken the first map of Eden. I cannot believe what I am seeing, Scopes.
Oh man, I think Eden was really starting to feel the pinch there towards the end. Kubler with that sort of out of character charge into the middle of the Noobs team. They dispatched him so quickly in that charge. Immediately afterwards, Luke dropping that hog ultimate and just pushing everyone away, and no frontline defense left for Eden.
Yeah, I mean, this is honestly, this is one of the greatest matches I've casted. A huge level of skill from both teams, and both teams showing exactly how to use it, but Noobs just coming out on top. I wanted to say they were the underdog coming into this, but oh my goodness me.
Yeah, now for the first time with Eden dropping a map, this is really where we get to see their composure and their true skill level. Are they the champions we all expect them to be? Will they have the resilience to bounce back from a first map defeat? I mean,
And you know,
from a
if
spectator perspective, we want that certainly to happen, and I'm confident they can. So, to me, this looks like this could go to a 3 map.
yeah, quite possibly. I mean, if Noobs keeps playing like this, it could be done in 2. But I believe, if I'm correct, the loser of this actually gets knocked out, right? Or will not be guaranteed a spot in the finals.
Well, no, we're in the upper bracket still at the moment, so the loser of this will go down into the loser bracket semi-final, and we're still
Okay.
due to see a few matches come through there. So, damage control still sitting in that lower bracket, Ecstasy and DDC. So, whoever comes out top there will be facing the loser of this match, and then of course the winner of this match goes through to the grand final. And
Yeah.
for those of you who don't know, the grand final, the winner with the stakes for that match, the winner gets an automatic qualification through to the end of year LAN. So obviously that's the prize that everyone's looking for at the moment. They don't want to
Yeah.
have to trudge through the qualification process again and all these cups that are still to come this year. And yeah, but so far I think the story of this game has been Noobs, and they've surprised us in how well they've maintained their composure, and just the level of aggression and the target prioritization has been great.
No, I mean, if they continue like this will be newspaper headlines tomorrow. Noob's doing an absolute fantastic job. And like you said, if they carry on like this onto a map like Watchpoint Gibraltar, we'll probably be seeing that. We'll probably be seeing, what's his name, Sheep on the Roadhog again. No, sorry, not Sheep on the Roadhog. I'm talking nonsense. Like a Luke on the Roadhog. And that's that very similar composition, which just proved so good against Eden. And I honestly wouldn't be surprised if we see that again. Whoops.
Yeah, I mean, there's no reason for them to take him off that at the moment. He's been, I would say, the most high impact hero for them so far. It's not just the fact that he's on the kill feed constantly, and the fact that he's sort of creating all that space from his ultimate to get rid of the diva mech and pretty much everything else around him, but it's also the fact that he's a scary presence for Carnage. And we've been saying time and time again, when Eden plays, if you don't shut down Carnage, you're not going to beat them, and that's exactly what they're doing. Carnage, of course, even when he's under pressure, he's going to be getting kills, but it's how much he can consistently do that I think Eden are so heavily reliant upon.
Yeah, I agree, and by shutting him down like they are, they're doing I mean, there's very little he can do against it. We saw a couple fantastic hooks from like Luke onto Carnage early on, as well as Nympho doing a fantastic job on Zarya. So I wouldn't be surprised if that's exactly what we see again. It does quite look like it is. They do have a Bastion pick, but I'm pretty sure that's just for show while they're starting up the Griffith, switching onto the Reinhardt as we'd expect.
Yeah, so I like the fact that Eden are now going back to the Winston. They've got a lot of high ground control at the start of Gibraltar, so I think it's going to offer them quite a lot of flexibility in terms of how they respond. And the Noob side going again with the same composition that they've used pretty much exclusively so far. But the only problem for them now is they don't have a lot of high ground control themselves. So they're going to be heavily reliant on that Roadhog hook to get a pick to start things off.
Yeah, especially coming down from this the underground a little bit here, it's going to be quite difficult for Roadhog to get out and come out, as Carnage going to be seeing him diving straight through their composition. Although, actually, I think I spoke a little bit soon. Carnage actually not wanting to get in there as much as I thought he would, like going down, taking down Kubler there in the background there. That is one pick that that's really important. Nyanfo as well getting Centacle. Carnage as well, I mean, he's in the way, but he's not doing as much damage as he would like to. as it looks like they're actually going to get this first corner quite easily. Luke just missing the hook he needed there, but they do manage to push them back, and Carnage is back in the place where he gets shut down by a sheep grenade. I don't know what Eden's doing here. I think they're choking a little bit as they managed to get the first point very, very quickly here.
Yeah, I mean, just look at what a tight unit Noobs are at the moment. They are sticking together. They're playing the composition to its strengths. They know that Carnage can't do very much when they're positioned like this. And a big problem for Eden at the moment is the fact that Kubla is dying so early into these fights. It's not necessarily always his fault, but Noobs are just picking him off time and time again, recognizing the fact that without that shield, the basis for the anchor for the Eden defense is just not there.
And there's been almost no contestation here going on here, so they're going to come right around pretty much to the back here. We do have 20 who's in the background, although he's just going to get shut down immediately by Nyamfo. Doing a fantastic job. Carnage only just getting his ult now, and here we are, we're going to see him pop it, but it doesn't actually look like he's going to get the chances. They just shut down again. Luke picking off 2, make that 3 with the whole hog. I mean, like, what is going on here? Arteria doing his very best to stall it out, but Scopes, coming in tonight, this is not what I expected to see, but I mean, watching it actually happen it's almost amazing. Light there doing a fantastic job on Soldier. And with that, they've got the second point.
So the hangar phase, where normally solid teams will be able to really grind down the timer against an attacking team, they really got nothing out of that phase at all. They're going into this last phase having to defend for 5 minutes. This is going to be brutal. And they just look a little bit frazzled at the moment. So I think they need to compose themselves.
And here comes the Nano Genji Blade, getting right up into the backline. He's looking for the support players again, just not getting the worth he needs, as he does finally manage to finish off Sheep and Grifflet. Could that be enough to stall them for a little bit? I mean, with 5 minutes left on the clock, a 30-second stall is almost nothing. Sheep and Grifflet now respawning. They're going to be back on the point. Carnage doing a fantastic job there of deflecting Luke's grenade, although he's going to get shut down by Nyamfo. So that's the pick they need to get this game started. Luke back, does have his ult again, and we've seen how useful he can make that ult be.
I think Carnage was expecting his dash to come on cooldown slightly quicker, and his deflect ended just a little
Oh, the huge hook there by Luke. Starting that fight fantastically as he manages to push them all back with the engage, pushing 20 back. 20 not going to get any worth at all out of his ult, and then finish off with another fantastic hook there onto Visions, although Visions does manage to get the grenade off in time to make that hook null and void. Arteria now having to do his best to keep his team alive, as the Nano Boost coming out is not quite going to be enough, as there they are caught in the Nyamfo's Graviton Surge, and with no one to contest the point, I think this is going to be it.
Yeah, well, they still have some time to work with. Let's see what Light can pull off. At the moment, Centicore just doing a good job of stalling, doing his best, but they're going to have to do a lot more than stall.
No, they're going to have to do a huge amount more than stall. I mean, 20 doing his best to stay alive, but with Light up on the high ground, just picking everyone off one by one, there's nothing they can do to... I mean, I think that's the 15-player kill streak sound rolling out on Light there now. He's playing a fantastic game. I mean, just look at this. They come in one by one and they die one by one. It's not going to be enough to get this point. All they're doing is, I guess, taking off time from them in the hope that they'll be able to get a 3-point capture.
Yeah, it looks like finally they're starting to turn the tide though. So Luke's still getting so many picks, but it looks like that Eden is finally starting to get the advantage here. And Nyamfo actually has his ultimate eaten up
by D.Va. You say they've got the advantage, but I mean, I see equal numbers on the point almost the whole time. Carnage actually switching off Genji. That's not something you see very often at all. He's had to switch on to Winston to deal with this composition. As Light's still remaining alive, and he's still got his soldier ult here. Vision's gonna have to, Arteria gonna have to drop the beat here to keep them alive again. And that's the 20-player kill streak sound coming out, and a fantastic hold there by, a fantastic push by Noobs.
I mean, for a moment there, it looked like Eden were finally starting to gain some ground on Noobs, and I don't know how, but they managed to reinforce. And like, I thought the fact that they were slowly getting picked off there, they were actually going to be costing themselves a little bit of time in terms of regrouping, but they were so confident in their ability to finish, they just said, no ways, we're not pulling back from this point, let's finish it out. and Light's just going absolutely ham. Luke as well on the hog. He's getting so many picks. They were almost losing that fight towards the end there, and he just got another 2 instant pick-offs by that hog.
Okay, Scopes, I want you to pay attention to something. Carnage is not on Genji on attack. When does that ever happen? That's when you know a team is doing a fantastic job of shutting down Eden.
Yeah, I mean, the fact that he's on Soldier is not too unorthodox. As I said, he does play Soldier, but the fact that it's also on a map like Gibraltar is just showing you his level of confidence at the moment on Genji. I mean, it hasn't worked out well enough for him at all. He's gotten to the back lines, but they've almost ignored him at certain points because they know they can just push ahead, and his ultimates really haven't converted into all that much. So I think this is a wise decision. Even though a Genji is great for high ground control, if you're not feeling comfortable on a hero like that, probably wise to try and switch it up a little bit.
Yeah, I must agree. It'll be interesting to see if now Noobs changes up their position a little bit, since they don't have to worry about that Genji that much. Although I doubt it. Centacle coming out the gates on Pharah actually, which is different. So there's your high ground control.
Switch back to Genji.
Oh, he has.
Yeah, it looks like they make a last decision to just go full dive here.
And it looks like it's giving them worth, although Luke picking off Carnage almost immediately, as we'd expect there, although Tentacle's a fantastic place now to just rain Pharah rockets on them. Although Light getting a nice pick there onto Kubler, although it looks like he's going to get shut down in the background. And a fantastic hook there by Luke. Luke doing so much work this game. Nyamfer saying, you know what, Carnage, you don't scare me at all, as he punches him directly in the face. He's now joined here by Luke.
Well.
Another punch in the face. My goodness.
Yeah, it's those situations where Genji thinks he's fine when he has his deflect up and just casually jumping away, and Luke waiting for the perfect moment to unleash yet another killing blow there.
Yeah. I mean, if I was Eden, I don't actually know what I would do in this position. Like, no matter what they do, it just doesn't seem to work. 20 getting nice there in the background there. He's got the healers in his sights. Now jumping onto Light, he's going to be able to throw his pulse bomb onto him very soon. Be interested to see if he does that now, if he waits for a combo. And there it is onto Luke. They're shutting down Luke. He's got Sheep in his sights. 20 playing a fantastic Tracer right now, shutting down NLT as well. And now he's got Grifflet as the last man alive. 20, an accuracy of a god there, finishing them off nicely. Joined up by Carnage. And I mean, although they needed 3 ults to do it, they did do it.
Yeah, I mean, they didn't quite need the Genji ult at the end there. They sort of wasted that. And unfortunately, it's going to allow Noobs some time to reinforce here.
And here they come. Luke bringing out his ult, although Centacle managing to pick up 2, although he gets shut down by Nymph. And Kubler now looking for Sheep. Sheep managing to get taken down. Vision's doing a fantastic job of cleaning up Grifflet. And they've said, we've had enough of your nonsense, Noobs. We're taking this back now.
Yeah, so this has been the mix-up that we've been waiting for from Eden. The more of a true dive composition, and I think Carnage is going to be appreciating the fact that he's getting more support there. So 20 on the Tracer and Kubler over on the Winston, they can all go in together while Centacle comes in over the top with Pharah.
Yeah, although Arteria going down very early on in that fight, although Grifflet is down as well. Light managing to clean up Visions there. Luke not quite featuring as much as he normally does in this engagement here. Although here he gets a huge hook onto Carnage, shutting him down almost immediately. He's looking for 20 just next. That hook was absolutely insane. I think he caught him mid-dash. And that's going to be enough, followed up there by 2 kills there on Light. And that's going to be enough to hold this point here, just as they come around the corner.
I was worried for a second there for Noobs, because their supports were so exposed after the death of Grifflet, and it didn't actually matter, because like Luke said, don't worry, we're gonna turn this fight in a few seconds anyway.
Yeah.
Certainly now Grifflet has switched over to the Winston as well.
And here comes Carnage's second ult. He manages to clean up Light, means he's got his dash resets up and ready. He sees the NLT in the background, he goes, this is the time, this is where I'm bringing out my ult. Although the hook there from Luke just turning them off again. Luke going absolute ham, finishing them off. And here comes the ult there from Nympho, although the pass into Iris is going to be there. They do need the Ana grenade to get in there, and once they have that, I mean, they're just going to turn them off again. I mean, yes, you may be able to do 300 healing per second, but you can't do anything when everyone's purple. And by finishing off Kubler there, I mean, that again secures a fantastic hold. Noobs just playing an absolutely insane game today.
Like a Luke, I think delivered a pretty accurate right click in that one fight, so even though I had the contenders up, he chewed right through that. And
here comes now Carnage onto the Reaper.
Yeah, when you're picking Reaper, that's when you know you're under pressure to try something different.
Yeah, I must agree. Reaper in 2017, what is this? As he gets cornered there by Nyantho, Light bringing out the Soldier ult, cleaning up one, make that two there. Kubler, though, managing to finish him off on the end, but I don't know. I mean, with three of them already down, Vision's going to go down any second now. Kubler as well, unable to heal, so he's going to be forced to get out of there.
It's actually working for them, surprisingly. I think the mix-up might have surprised Noobs a little bit, so they haven't quite won this fight. Here comes the Raj, but they've still got a little
20 as well, bringing out a couple nice hits there. Although it does look like Luke now again does have his ult, and you know how useful he may, you know how much work he can do with that ult. Arteria and Soldier being forced to run away. I think 20 unable to engage as he may have wished in that fight. Although they do have Reaper ult, if they can set it up nicely, they can get a nice couple picks here to start it off.
Yeah, I imagine Carnage is going to have to work his way up towards the top. Oh, there he goes, straight up onto the top. They're immediately getting slept. Yeah,
and he does actually have Grifflet on Winston here. He's going to be here to deal with him any minute now. Winston probably not the best person to send off to Reaper, but probably the person who's going to get there quickest. As here he comes with his ult. He manages to clean up NLT, jumping up and down, although he just gets shut down immediately by an ulting Grifflet. 20 though, getting up nice couple of picks in the background, although he gets taken down. It's now just Arteria and Vision's getting taken down. Kubler, last man alive, running around, but can Arteria do it? He might be able to get this back cap, although no. Sheep sees him, like Luke sees him as well, and with 47 seconds left on the clock, this is their last push.
Well, I mean, depending on how quick they get wiped, because Noobs have been wiping them fairly quickly, so they might get 2 attacks, but they got stalled a little bit, so it looks like this is going to be the last push, guys. So if Eden can't do this, this is their final attempt to draw this matchup.
I think this is the first time in South African Overwatch that Eden will have ever been 2-0'd. I know it's too early to speak now, but with Nyantho set up perfectly for this Graviton, he's going to chuck it now. He just wants to make sure that it doesn't get eaten by D.Va, sorry. As there they are, ulted onto the points. They're all purple. They're all going to be shut down here. Soldier running in with the attack visor. He's going to get as many as he can. Light cleaning up. Nyantho cleaning up in the background as well. The last couple kills there for Light. And that is it. Ladies and gentlemen, Eden were 2-0'd. Let that just settle.
Yeah,
This is not only this is the first time they've dropped a match in South African Overwatch history. This is the first time that they've been... Yeah. Noobs showing us that they have definitely improved since we last saw them go up against Eden. I can't believe what I'm seeing tonight.
Yeah, it was such a well-rounded performance, and Noobs really delivering where it counts the most. They came out with the perfect composition. Eden just had no answer for it. They tried some swap-ups every now and then, but it was just a little bit too late. Like the Luke really just wasn't shut down for most of that game. He just got so much value out of the hooks time and time again. If it wasn't killing Carnage outright on that Genji, it was pretty much keeping him away from the back line. He almost always seemed to have that ultimate up, and between himself and Light and Nyantho, who was always high charged, and Sheep with some of those amazingly clutch sleep darts, I mean, it was a great performance all around from them.
Yeah, I must say I agree. It was absolutely insane to watch. Very, very well played to both teams there. Noobs, I know, was saying at the end that they've been scrimming 4 times a week. It's clear that the practice paid off.
Yeah, teams Carnage have a little bit of a dig against Noobs there, but I mean, you do what you have to do. This is the meta as we face it, and even though it might be changing a little bit as patches roll by, Noobs definitely bringing out what is required, and they were the underdogs, make no mistake. And so even though you can sort of call the composition a little bit cheesy at times, it's they really executed it perfectly.
No, I must agree. A fantastic show there by Noobs, as well as, I mean, Eden had some nice moments, but it was just dominated by the fact of how well Noobs played that game. So by doing this now, that secures Noobs a spot in the grand finals, if I'm correct.
Yeah, Noobs go through to the grand finals. Eden are not out yet. They drop down to the lower bracket. They will face the winner between Damage Control and a match that is still to be decided. So Ecstasy Gaming and BDC Dominion. And I mean, we saw that Damage Control took Noobs to, well, they took them to quite a close game previously in the upper bracket semi-finals. So it'll be interesting to see now how they fare up against Eden, presuming that they get through, because they're looking like they're likely to get through. They're a pretty strong team at the moment.
Yeah.
But yeah, the story at the moment all about Noobs upsetting Eden. I mean, some people would say, yeah, it's definitely possible if you make the right picks and you perform well on the night. But the fact that we haven't seen it happen before is a testament to how well Noobs played tonight.
Yeah, a fantastic game. I've actually got. I hope it's working, but we should have the stages up on the stream now. You can see here, Noobs actually have gone through this. The only time they lost a map was to Damage Control, and they didn't lose a map to Eden. Could Damage Control have what it takes to knock out Eden here in the loser bracket final?
I mean, to me, it's a completely different comparison. I think Noobs played a lot better tonight than they did against Damage Control. They also played a lot more smartly. I think they knew exactly which composition to go for. So if I had to put money on it, I wouldn't say the chances would be as close of a game as we saw before. But you know, we we've been surprised once. There's no reason why it can't happen again. But yeah, it looks like that wraps things up, guys. This was the upper bracket final of the Community Shield. The next round, I believe, is on Wednesday, and then after that, only on Monday and Tuesday again. So Monday, Tuesday, we're going to be looking at probably the lower bracket finals and then the grand finals. So
Yes.
we're likely to bring you those games. So that will be next week.
Yeah, next week, Monday and Tuesday. If you want to make sure you stay up to date, just follow either scopeZ on Facebook. There's also the Facebook Overwatch group. scopeZ is over on Twitter, and the Overwatch Discord. All the links will be posted in the chat, I'm sure, at some point. And I think that brings us to the end. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in to what was absolutely insane game. Thanks to the players for playing, and thanks, scopeZ, for doing it with me.
Yeah, it was definitely one of the better ones we've seen to date. And yeah, as always, thanks everyone for watching, and continues to get better and better. So I hope you guys continue to support the stream and support South African Overwatch. Things are definitely heating up.
Yeah. And with that, I think we're ready to sign out.
Have a good one, guys.